Well, it's just a button. My God, I found a few of these here. Absolutely, the whole place is absolutely full of them. But I've come out. I'll show you what this field looks like on a nice day. It's so foggy at the moment, but it was quite cold, but I've warmed up fairly quickly. I'm actually going to take my gloves off now. And it's nice and calm and still. And I've done this field a lot recently, and you may have seen it from my last videos, but I'm coming to a section. I've done it really carefully, the whole lot. I don't have much more time on it. The beans are coming through, but fortunately I reckon this is just another couple of sessions and it's done. I've got to go up to that hedge line and I'm coming into the good bit. There's no doubt about it. I haven't got a lot to show you so far, apart from quite a nice early spindle wall. I've given it a bit of a nick. Don't mind too much, it's not the most precious thing in the world, but nice to find. That was very deep. And a rose farthing, which is a good sign of stuff from the age of Charles I. Neither stuff to completely write home about, but as I said, I'm coming to that, finally getting to the good bit, the really good bit, so I'm extremely hopeful today. As I said, it's really foggy. Here's what it can look like, this field, on a nice sunny day. Well, that's very tiny, whatever it is, but it's quite bright sounding. Well, you know your machine's working. You can't blame your metal detector, in my case the Deus, when you're finding things like this. And it's a tiny cut quarter. And I think it looks like it's in quite nice condition. My God. I mean, it's fun finding these. I love finding these. I think they mainly date to Henry III. I think they're usually short crosses. I think this one is. Or maybe even earlier. It could be Richard, John. Could be Henry II. Look how tiny these things are. Absolutely minute. I think my record on this field is 4 hammered coins. So we nearly beat it last time. We were on 3, I think. So that's, you know, it's only a quarter of one, but it still counts. That's so odd. I've literally gone 2 or 3 more steps. And I have found another hammered coin, and it's a little bit bigger, but it's not in very good condition. It's a bit bashed up. It's a bit bashed up. It's a shame because it's got a bit nicked out of it. I don't think that's a cut quarter. I think that's broken. That's not been, it's not sharp enough to have been done on purpose. But it's in really good condition. I can clearly read the legend. It's a long cross. So it's Edward the whatever. and that's jolly nice. So I think that counts as 2, definitely, even though it's a bit bashed up and a bit eaten. Definitely. Well, that's squeaky, but it's quite high pitched. I have dug up so many buttons, but I've also dug up something which is a first for me, and it's something I've always rather wanted to find. Even though, if you watch these videos, you know I'm not very fond of the general thing they are in the first place. But I found a few really nice ones recently. The fact that it's so wispy and squeaky is giving me a bit of hope that it might not be a button. It also got me to thinking how often we dig really deep holes, seriously deep holes on tiny wispy targets. And we are so thrilled that we actually do find something. But I can't remember the last time it was something good. It's always a cartridge end or a rifle round or something. It's always something very deep and something that we've tested ourselves in digging, but it rarely turns out to be any good. I want to be quite careful with these holes, not digging too... well, it's out and it sounds nice. I bet it's a button. I bet it's a button. I must have found 30 buttons already today. And not even very nice ones. Ah, wouldn't you know it? Bloody hell, it's another one. At 7 or 8 inches. But while I've got you, look at this. I'm absolutely thrilled. It's a thimble. Someone very kindly sent me something to poke with. A really, really nice tool that you can clip onto your belt or a keyring or just anything really. And it's a perfect point. And I keep forgetting to bring it out with me. But now that is a thimble, but it's a one without the top. And I don't think it's lost its top. I think it's without the top on purpose. Now I can't remember what these date to. But I've secretly, even though I don't like thimbles, I've always wanted to find one of these. So that's really good news. I'm thrilled with that. I love it.
Hi there, I hope you all had a very good Christmas and everything. And thank you so much for all the comments on the last video. They were really, really nice to read, and I'm really pleased the video went down so well. It took me a long time to do, and I really enjoyed making it. And just to say that there's a couple of really good ones coming out, because I had a couple of cracking days literally just before Christmas, the 2 days before Christmas. So I will have time to make those videos as well, hopefully in the new year. But just a quick look at this thimble. Now, as I said in the film, I'm sure you already know I don't like thimbles. It's one of the few things I'm really not that fond of finding. But I have been lucky enough to have found a couple of really quite nice ones recently. This one I think you may have seen in a very recent video, which is a beautiful sort of copper thimble, probably dating to the 16th, 15th century. And this one, the reason I got so excited about it is because secretly I've always wanted to find one of these, which the Portable Antiquities scheme has them down as, and therefore I believe this is probably right, ring type thimbles, i.e. they don't have a top. Often, as I also said, the top gets lost. This does not have a lost top. This is purposefully made to be like a ring. Now, I can't tell if that's broken or it's done on purpose to have a seam. And if it does have a seam, it dates it probably to slightly earlier, and it would have made it easier to resize the ring, or to have a ring thimble that fitted more correctly. I also wrongly thought that the ring type thimbles were earlier. I don't think they are. The pass says that they may predate the domed thimbles, but it's not an absolute given. They certainly go out of fashion earlier, but they run fairly concurrently with the similar styles to the domed ones. Now, I put this on the detectinghub.co.uk, and they said it was post-medieval. Now, I think, if I'm looking at these, that it's slightly earlier than that. The post-medieval ones seem to be much narrower. They have fewer rows of indentations. I'm going to be told I'm wrong with this, and it's because secretly I want this to be earlier than it might be. But if I'm looking at the portable antiquities scheme, to me, it looks like late medieval and early post-medieval ring type thimbles, and it's very much in keeping with the one I found earlier. Anyway, as I said, I'm not a thimble fan, but I always wanted to find one of these, and now I have. So I was very pleased. Thank you very much for listening to all that, and let's go back to the fields.
Well, it's not cold anymore, I tell you that for nothing. Well, that's nice, but it does feel like I've not found a big hammered coin here for ages. And it's just here, and it's a cut half. A really nice, in good condition, I think. Yeah, it's a lovely one. It's a voided long cross, but in lovely condition. So that makes it sort of Henry III. I think they even go into the reign of Edward I. I'm not quite sure. Can't quite remember. But, or, yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Voided long cross. Lovely. So little tiny, I'm picking up the tiny things still, obviously. Be nice to find a couple of big ones. Number 3. Well, it might not be a record for hammered coins, but it's definitely, I think, a record for cut halves and cut quarters. That's 4 now. That's absolutely minute. Again, in really quite nice condition. I think that's maybe what's left here. It's just I'm picking up, the dais is, working bloody well. And I'm just picking up tiny bits. Nothing big at all. But I'm not complaining. I mean, it's just, you just know, you're working well with your machine when you're finding these. Well, this is jolly nice. I have no idea what it is or how old it is. But it's pointy like an arrow. And I think it's got, let me just, again, I need my pointy thing that chap very kindly sent me. I'm not allowed to tell you his name. He's very humble. He didn't want me to, and that's fair enough. Yeah. So, gosh, I mean, that's a new one on me. If it was slightly more modern, I'd think it'd be one of those things you see on the end of those, they're not power harrows, whatever it is, the sort of, the pointy bits, farm machinery. But it's not, it's definitely earlier than that. Is it medieval? I don't know. Is it a horse harness pendant? I'm not sure. But it's a new one on me, and it's really pretty. It always throws up interesting things, this field. Fewer and fewer things, obviously. Last time I was out, I found 3 tiny farthingy type size hammered coins. I'm not finding anything big at the minute, but little bits like that really help.
Sometimes when I find something I get really excited about and it turns out not to be so exciting, I tend to sort of soften it down in the videos. I don't tend to come here or bang on about it. I try and let it go and hope that none of you notice. And this is a point of fact. This is not quite as grand as I thought it was. I thought it might be medieval, possibly a harness pendant or something like that. I don't think it is. Again, I put it on the detectinghub.co.uk and they very quickly came back to me saying it's a modern draw pull. Now, I'm an antiques dealer and I know a bit about draw pulls. Now, I would not say this was modern, but even though some people think modern as being 17th century onwards. Now, it's almost certainly 17th century, probably early 18th century. A more common type, especially in Georgian furniture, is the drop draw pull. But I did do a little bit of research on this, and I have found a couple online which are fairly similar. So I don't think it's Tudor. I think it's probably post that. Commonly, drawers were opened by wooden knobs. The draw pull itself came slightly later, and then the handle came after that. A way of explaining this, if you didn't know already, which I'm sure you do, is that would have gone through a type of metal ring of sorts, and it would have hung close to the drawer itself until you were ready to pull it. I don't know much about early furniture. I mainly deal in 19th century and later. This is a lovely big Gothic desk, but and has very Gothic, beautiful brass handles. But you can get the idea from there of what I mean. It goes through a loop and it clicks like that. They were made of brass. That's not brass, I don't think. I think that's copper. And I just think that is probably one of the earlier types, if not the earliest types you're going to get. It's still a lovely object, and I'm really pleased to have found it, but not quite as grand as I thought it was. So, it is filthy out there. It's so wet, and my two favourite boys, Charles, come here, watch out for the camera, go past very carefully, come on. Very carefully. My two favourite boys have been playing outside in the rain. Is it still raining?
Still raining.
Is it still raining? Okay. So I hope you all have a very good New Year. It's New Year's Eve this evening. Okay, and see you in the New Year. He woke me up at 4 o'clock this morning and we haven't been to sleep since. So that gives me an excuse to go to bed early because I don't really like New Year's Eve. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and listening, and see you all soon. Thanks. Bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
They're there.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Well, the fog's lifted, but it's still pretty gloomy out here. And it's not, well, it's definitely been worth coming out for. We found some wonderful things, but I think I've sort of had enough. It's just being a bit damp and dank. I don't want my camera equipment being ruined. So we're going to end on this. Very squeaky. Just hoping it's not a button. God, the amount of buttons I found today. Almost certainly it is. And I've just left myself, I don't think I'll do it in one. Another 2 goes here in the better section. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. Well, that's sounding really nice, I have to say. Just pinpointing well today. I always tell you when I'm pinpointing well, and I tell you when I'm pinpointing badly, but today is good. I think it's in there. Let's have a listen. Yeah, pretty coppery. I think I can see it. Well, it's a thimble without the end, but I think that is not on purpose because it's a modern one. It's a crappy Victorian one. And I think the end must have come off. You often find us the round end bits with little dimples on them, don't you? I found a silver round end bit once, but that's not so. That's why I don't like thimbles. What horrible grotty things they are usually. Anyway, thank you very much as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.